Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews as we do a real quick, short, spoiler-free review of Prey, which is now on Hulu as of August the 5th. It is basically probably the first entry into the Predator franchise because it's set in the 1700s, 300 years ago. Um,
I only have one problem with their log line
yes,
when they
go
say
ahead.
that. They were at Inca temples in the Arctic.
Uh,
So
my
when they say that
defense.
this is the first hunt, I'm wondering if they mean this is her first hunt or the predator's first hunt. I know it's a
This
stupid thing to get caught on, but that bothers
No, no,
me.
no. That's for me. That is from my understanding because I know nothing of the Alien versus Predator movies. In fact, I'm guilty because I haven't watched them because it sounds like the stupidest fucking thing ever. So it's like I don't want to see that. So
Right.
I don't
We'll,
count
we'll,
those. I'm not
we'll
saying they're
talk about
bad or
those.
what, but anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about those in just a second. What did you think? What did you think? We were talking a little bit right before we got online.
Yeah.
Folks, this is going to be almost live. The only reason it's not live, I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
why.
know because we haven't figured that
Because
out.
nobody's
But
going to
anyway,
watch us, really, because there's 20,000 other people out there doing this live or
right.
live streaming it or have live streamed it. But what did you think, Scott?
Okay. I haven't seen the original Predator 1, Predator 2 in a long,
Oh,
long time.
I
Okay.
was going to say.
Very long time. The last Predator movie I saw was Robert Rodriguez's Predators, which I actually liked, where they drop
Yeah,
them off on the planet and
yeah, that's a
it's
good one.
cool. This movie hooked me from beginning to end,
Mhm.
and it was just once the action started, holy shit, it didn't stop.
And
Um,
it didn't take long.
it didn't
To me,
take
it didn't
long.
seem like it took very long to get it started.
I have to get my negative out of the way because I only have one negative about this entire movie.
All right.
The CGI is hit or miss on the animals.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. You know what?
yeah,
I'm good with it. I can work with it. I understand why they didn't have a real bear there, but at times it looked good. At times it looked really fucking bad.
yeah.
And
The
it's like,
grizzly is what bothered me the
but
most.
what's that?
The grizzly is what bothered me the most. But as
The
we have
grizzly, the cat, the rabbit. We can keep going.
You know what? I can accept it. You're not going to get a freaking mountain lion, a hungry mountain lion to it.
I
I
know
get
that.
that. I get that totally. But you and I have talked about other movies that have some CGI work that hasn't stood the test of time, but the story's so good, you look at it, and initially, there was one piece of CGI. I won't tell anybody where it's at, but it took me out for a second. That
Hmm.
was the only problem that I had with the CGI overall.
Yeah.
But it took me right back in because
Yeah.
the story and the acting of Amber Midthunder is
Amber Mid Thunder as
actually really
Naru.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But keep going. I
Oh,
just wanted to throw that in there.
yeah. Yeah. This was an exciting movie. This is one of the movies, though, I honestly wish I would have known I was going to enjoy it this much because I would have just switched it over to its Comanche language track because they did
No
dub this
shit.
entirely in Comanche. Yeah, it's an option on Hulu. If you go down, you can choose the Comanche version.
No shit.
And if I'd have known that was where that was going to be, because what I want to talk about is this movie to me, the narrative is so well done. It's so well shot.
Mhm.
I could have watched this in their natural language without subtitles and still
Right.
been able to tell you what happened in this story, what went down, where her station was in the tribe, everything. It was
Right.
very thoughtful, very smartly shot and written.
Right.
I I fucking love this, man.
Now you just talked about the Comanche. Now, did they film this twice? Did they
No,
film them in Comanche and then film
no.
it in English?
I do believe it was filmed in English and then they went in and dubbed a Comanche track.
Okay. All right.
This is only one of a handful of movies that has actually been released with Comanche language,
No shit.
which is really cool.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, they actually used Native Americans in this movie.
That is a big plus.
Unlike Gods of Egypt, they had a bunch of white guys. They
Yeah.
didn't even wear helmets with hawks or anything on them in Gods of Egypt. They just were fucking white guys and white
Yeah.
women. It's like, no. I was so happy. The initial 2 minutes or 3 minutes into this movie, I'm looking and I'm like, oh my god, these people are Native Americans. And if they're not
Yeah.
Native Americans, they look close enough to Native American that I'm like, okay, at least they got that right.
Yeah.
But when I started looking at the names,
Yeah,
growing
looks
up.
like
I
they
think,
did.
oh, fuck, they're all Native Americans.
Hmm.
You know, um,
Yeah,
this
this
movie's got a lot going for it. The story, the character of Naru, who's the main character, the little
mhm.
girl with her dog. The dog. I kept thinking about you every time that goddamn dog
Dude,
showed up on
dude,
screen.
I screamed so much. It's like, please, I'm not going to say anything, but the dog will stress you out, people. I'm
The
just saying.
dog's gonna stress you out, folks. Right up until the very end, that dog is gonna stress you out.
Yes.
We're again, it's really hard to talk about this movie without doing spoilers. So I'm trying not to give any spoilers. The little girl is very believable. I'm guessing her character is supposed to be about 15.
That's what I'm thinking. She's a
Don't
teen.
Yeah, I don't know how old the actress really is, but I'm guessing fairly young, probably in her early 20s. But
Yeah,
the
I'd say.
character is supposed to be about 15. And unlike I had written Scott yesterday, unlike Rise of Skywalker Patine, um, she's being trained. She's training. You see her training. You
Well,
see her brother at one point helping her train. You
she
see
had
that.
a lower midichlorian count.
You're right.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, so anybody who's comes out, and this is what we were just talking about right before we started
Yeah.
filming. Right after I watched this movie, I was like, I want to see what other people are saying about this movie. Because I knew I was just going to find a ton of crap about this movie. Oh, it's terrible, this or that. But what I was finding is people who usually say things like that were actually coming out going, no, this is actually a pretty good movie. That
It's a good movie.
somebody had said, and I couldn't say it any better, the writer and director got the memo and they did the assignment. And that assignment was make a
Make a Predator
Predator
movie.
movie that's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah, that's
Done.
perfect.
This is
Done.
a good Predator movie. I enjoyed
Um,
the hell out of it.
let me mention the director. I think Dan Trachtenberg, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. The last movie I seen from him was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is
Mhm.
part of the Cloverfield trilogy.
Right.
It is an excellent fucking movie. So I already had high hopes that this was going to follow along with it, and it did. One of the things that
Yeah.
really struck me with this, and I'm going to try and talk about this without exposing the bigger part of the movie,
Uh-huh.
but you have the alien predator,
Mhm.
and then you have Naru. They have a similar story.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are both going on a hunt.
Hmm.
That's all I'm going to say. And that
There,
sets up the premise for the movie.
there's a lot of moments, and some of them are blatant, some of them are kind of not as blatant, of the circle of life thing.
Oh, yes,
Not the
yes.
prey. There's several moments that come up, and my wife looked at me at one point. She's like, oh, "That was kind of over the top." I said, "Yeah, but it was done really well." You
And it
know?
was done to show that he was scaling up, trying to
Yeah.
find an apex predator.
Yeah. And
Um, he did.
yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah.
Um, but the whole way that her story unfolds is you see the help she's getting. You see that she couldn't accomplish her goal without the help that she gets and without the
Hmm.
help she got. So again, without giving too much away, there's a lot of really nice stuff in this movie. There's a lot the camera work, the
It's
visuals,
beautiful.
the panoramic shots. I think they filmed this up in Canada. I'm not sure exactly
As
where.
wherever it was
I want to
absolutely
say
gorgeous.
Alberta, but I'm not positive.
I could see that.
But there is a badass scene in this movie. There is just a badass scene where the predator's being baited. I'm not going to give anything else away,
Yeah.
but that scene is probably one of my favorite scenes, and it
I got
helps.
chills just thinking of it. It's like,
And it helps.
damn.
Totally helps explain how she becomes what she becomes, how she
Hmm.
is the little girl becoming a woman, kind of thing.
Yeah. It is a coming of age story.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
of the things that struck me though, as a huge horror fan buff, this is a slasher film.
yeah.
Bottom line,
Oh,
it's a slasher.
this
You
was
have Jason show up, but he looks like Predator, and he
this is
does his
probably what.
mortal. He does the kills are right out of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they
They
are.
are insane. They are gross. They are violent. This is a bloody movie, more so than I expected.
This is
And
probably one of the most violent predators you see, and
yeah,
they actually show it. Not because there was a couple of points where I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe
yeah,
Hulu showed that," and
yeah,
I was like, "Good for you, Hulu," because that's what this thing is. This
yeah.
thing, and a lot of people, the biggest complaint that I've seen is people complaining about the Predator. Oh, it didn't look like the Predator from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. What I've read in the comics and
Hmm.
in interviews and stuff is there are species of predator. I mean, look at humanity. Not every human looks the
Not
same.
all of us look
So you
alike.
can
Yeah,
have a bunch of predators that don't all look the same. Mommy, daddy predator are going to have a little baby predator that doesn't look the same. I had
they are
no
all
problem.
ugly.
Yeah, they're all ugly. Hey, to humans, they're ugly. To another
Yeah,
predator, they're sexy. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying to another predator.
yeah, right.
But like I have no problem with it. I liked the Predator design. I thought it
Yeah.
was really kick ass. The way the story unfolds is pretty natural. There might have been one or two little moments where I sat there and went, I don't know about that. But for the most part, they were like so minuscule and such a
Mhm.
tiny thing. I do the same thing in the original Predator, where I was looking and go, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Get to the chopper. No,
yeah.
motherfucker, I'm going to the chopper with you, Arnold. Let's go.
One of the things, and I keep going back to it, is this movie could be watched without knowing the language because of the way it
Yeah,
was set up. There's scenes that show Naru being woken up every morning the same way with a boot to the shoulder. And
yeah.
she's just like any other normal teen. Oh, I don't want to get up.
Mhm.
I don't want to get up and go do this. I want to go hunt. I don't want to go gather.
Right.
And she was a hunter at heart, and she proves it. And that's I think it's really cool. And you had texted me, it's like, oh my God, it's like Ripley. Nobody's listening to the woman.
Yeah, exactly. And I got that from the wife. We were sitting there talking and we're watching the show, and the wife looks over and she goes, "She's Ripley." I
Hmm.
said, "Well, what do
She
you
is.
mean?" She goes, "Nobody's listening to her."
She even has Jonesy.
Yeah, she's got Jonesy and there's Ripley. That was perfect. As soon as she said that, I was like, "Oh my God, I wonder if the writers like channeled that, like was looking
Oh,
at
I'm
the
sure.
Alien movie and went, "This is Ripley. This is our Ripley." Whereas a lot of people were looking at her, and I guess the director and writer had told her that the actress Amber that you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. They should have looked at her and said, "You're Ripley."
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is a different alien, but you're
Yeah.
Ripley in this movie. And
Well,
they were right because she basically did all the Ripley shit. Like there was some stuff she didn't want to get involved in, but she had to.
yeah.
So
Well,
that was cool.
you can't make an action movie without looking at some of the best action movies ever, and that's Aliens, Terminator. You're gonna pull from it whether you want to or not, and I think that's
Exactly.
what's happening. And this is a lot of people shit on the Robert Rodriguez Predators movie. I really enjoyed it, and this is just neat to see another
The one
bit
where they're up
of
on the planet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that
This
movie.
is
I
I do
do.
too. This was just another a cool entry into it. It gets me excited to go back and watch more Predator and see what's going on.
This is what Star Wars needs to look at.
Yes.
And I say that they need to keep it a little bit smaller, like they did Mandalorian. They kept it smaller, but they have to look at the story and the originality of the story. I know some people are complaining that oh, it's just another Predator movie. That's what Predator movies are. It's a hunter coming in and
Hmm.
hunting, and you
Yeah.
have to
That's all
defend
they're doing.
yourself against the hunter. And that's what this movie basically boiled it down. And it was like, okay, we've showed you the big guns. We've showed you Arnold. We've showed you Predator 2 in the city. We showed you all this other crap that was just horrible movies. Uh, we showed you predators on the planet, what they're going to be. How would it be if they had to hunt somebody that was really primitive weapons? And they do. It's really good.
It's
The
really well done.
relationship between the brother sister
Oh yeah.
was really good. It took me a minute to realize that was her brother. To be
Yes.
honest with you, just
Yes.
because of the way that they're they were talking
But
and
once it showed him in the same TP, it's like okay, yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't.
And then their mom had said it too.
Yeah, that's where I was like, oh, they're brother and sister. They're not boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife.
Hmm.
And it's only because they were so close, and it wasn't. There was no sexual tension, but it was almost like a husband wife arguing.
Yeah,
It was
you
what
can
was
tell.
throwing me off a little bit. And then when I realized, oh shit, they're brother and sister. Everybody argues like that when they're brother
Yeah.
and sister. That's funny. It was good. That
Yeah,
brother was kick ass. I really
yeah,
enjoyed him. Did he not look like oh my mind, Corey Feldman? Like he could have been Corey Feldman's son.
yeah. I could see why you said that.
Yeah,
I
it's
could
in
see
his
a
belt.
reason.
It's
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
face. Because I'm looking at him like I got to look up that guy's name. That's got to be Feldman's kid.
Yeah, one of the things about this movie, and I think most people will enjoy it because even if you know nothing about Predator, I recommend going in and watching this. This is a good action movie. If all
Right,
you like is horror films, this is a great slasher hidden in a
right.
sci-fi wrapping of
Yes, yes.
historical fiction. Uh, it's
Only the girl doesn't lose a shoe when she runs.
No, she is one badass final girl.
Yeah,
So that's usually how it works. This is just a good action movie, and one of the things
yeah.
I really liked was there's so much foreshadowing that gets called back to.
Mhm.
Her hunt with the cat ties into the end, how she's able to fight the predator
Right.
on almost equal footing,
Stop.
and
Can't give anything away.
that's all. Well, she's gonna fight. That's all I said. She's gonna fight it.
Um, yeah. As far as Predator movies, I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is always going to be number one.
Hmm.
I always liked Predator 2. I really like the Predators when they're on the planet.
Yeah.
Alien versus Predators, they did that twice and they both sucked.
Yeah.
For me, I saw one of the Predator movies. I think after that, I think there was a movie that took place after that, if I remember correctly. It starts out as a teenage romp and turns into a Predator movie. I might be getting my movies mixed up. It was terrible. Whatever it was terrible. Um, this one, somebody sat down and looked at the last three crappy movies that they made and were like, let's not
Nope.
do that. Let's make a good one. Let's go back to the original formula because that's what works. And it works. If you like Predator movies, I highly recommend this movie. I really do. I cannot recommend this movie enough. I'm probably going to watch it again this weekend at least.
I when I return to it, I'm going to watch it in Comanche just because I think it will be cool.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah, that's one of the things they did. They pulled the Hunt for Red October, start speaking in a language, shift to English. You
Yep.
never notice it. The French, all
Yeah.
of it, they did it, and it's like that is how you transition, and it's perfect. I saw people complaining online, and this is why I have no faith in humanity. Why she speak to her tribe in English, but the dog in Comanche? And I'm like,
Well, she also did sign language to the dog too. So why were you doing that? Well,
yeah,
because
I just can't. I recommend this movie a ton. Final thoughts, Dave.
I loved it. Recommend it. Watch it. If you're a Predator fan, you're gonna love this movie. If you saw Aliens versus Predator, those two crappy movies, and another crappy movie, if you liked Predators, the Planet one, you're gonna love this one. If you like the first two Predators, you're gonna like this one. No lie, you're gonna like this movie. It is up there. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you're a fan of an action movie, slashers, aliens, sci-fi, horror, blood, guts, it's got it all. It's done
There's a lot
so
of good
well,
in this movie.
and the kills are insane. It's Mortal Kombat style, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's nuts. Much more violent than I expected. I mean, yes, I knew it was going to be a violent
Really,
movie, but I was like, oh my god, all right, I'm in.
it really was a lot more violent than I was expecting.
Yeah,
Like I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. But it
I
all works. It wasn't just violence for violence sake. I'm a crazy person. Oh no, I'm a crazy alien. Oh, but I like this movie.
yeah,
Watch it, folks. Watch
really
it.
good.
Watch it.
So
Hulu
the
did
two
a
old
good job.
asses. What's that?
Hulu did a good job on
They
this.
did.
Support good work. That's all I say. Support good work.
Yeah, yeah. The us two old asses say watch it. It's a must
Mhm.
watch. So thanks for hopping in. Stay tuned because new episodes dropping real soon. So
Yep.
on other movies, and check us out. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, and thanks for watching. Enjoy, pray.